Have you ever noticed that everybody says they want authenticity?
That is, until somebody is actually authentic.
We're told to be ourselves,
But we're also told you've got to be professional.
be vulnerable,
Not too vulnerable
be confident,
and not too arrogant,
share your journey,
but make sure it looks good online
and somewhere between who we are,
and who we think we're supposed to be.
performance begins.
Sometimes for other people,
Sometimes for ourselves.
and sometimes we get so freaking good at it.
That we forget where the performance ends and the real person begins. Welcome back.
To aligned anyway.
I'm your co host, Tiffany.
And I'm your co host, Josh.
Today's conversation is called the Performative You. But as per usual, we're gonna just do a little life check-in before we dig in,
A little bit, a little bit.
Just a little bit, a little bit. Sometimes we forget like life stuff too, and we're just navigating friendship, work, relationship, kids, dogs. I'm gonna get into that.
Mm.
But, I just want to know what's been on your mind this week.
This week has been heavy on my mind. And mainly because of this week's episode release, it's allowing me to reflect a lot of like to where we're at this month. By the time this episode releases, I mean, we're looking at mid-July. So for those of you that hear this, this is going to be late to you. You've already been through this. But for us currently in this journey, it's Gay Pride Month. And as the episode releases today for us in current time, I actually was talking about, the struggles in being a gay man coming up to Gay Pride Month. And we're actually live in the flesh in a time where I feel like is more sensitive now than ever. I'm doing a lot of reflection on, my people, my values, my inner warrior, what I'm really fighting for, who I'm observing fighting for me, or the things that are important to me, or of equivalency. It doesn't necessarily have to be gay rights, but it just means not being an awful person. And I think gay pride is just so misconstrued for what it is. I think people think it's just all about rainbows and gay and trans and drag queens and ruining religion and ruining sanctity of marriage and gender and all this fucking stupid shit. And it's actually a rainbow for a reason. People don't realize that a rainbow represents several different walks of life, several different colors or flavors of the rainbow. And it's not about one, it's about all. People that criticize that have some serious internal turmoil that they really need to deal with and put in check. But for me, I just think about this every year as like Pulse nightclub, and what those people went through. And, knowing that I know people that actually died. It's just a really hard, reflective time every June, but it's also a time of celebration and celebrating my people for what it is and for what we are and who we're going to be. And it gets me excited and it gets me invigorated and it gets my internal warrior spirit all happy because I'm not going to be backing down. I'm not going to be shutting up. I will be posting every fucking day pride things, gay this, gay that. I know
Said
that's
lightly.
heavy and I know that's deep and I know we're diving right in, but that's what I'm thinking about this week.
I don't think I really thought about the negative side of gay pride, and not the negative side as far as like gay pride in itself. I mean, the side of the struggle, the fight, the feelings of not being safe, losing people, the real, true reality of that. I always thought of it as this way to celebrate being authentically you and in your skin and just like not giving a fuck. And like I participated in Gay Pride St. Pete. I was on the float, the St. Pete Girl Bosses float. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on the float. I'm doing this. Like a lot of my close friends are choosing to love whomever they love, and I support that because like I don't care. What does that have to do with me? It doesn't. Love who you love. I don't give a shit. But like I really just appreciated being able to like be there and be in that moment where it felt okay to look and be whatever you want it to be. That was just a really good moment for me as someone who just like wasn't always so comfortable in their skin. And I would like look at people and kind of be like in awe of their authenticity or their ability to just kind of freely be them. I used to just, and I talk about this, but like at the size that I was, I just wanted to disappear. I wanted to like wear clothes where people wouldn't notice me. So like being in that space where it's like bright colors and rainbows and sparkle and whatever the fuck you want, like that made me feel like a hug, like accepted. And that is what that is for me.
It's not even just about the gays. Like the gays want everybody. They want the people that aren't so open. It's not like we're like a recruiting cult here, people. We're not going, hey, you Wanna come over to the gay side? Come
Right.
check it out. It's super cool. It's, like,
Like, it
super
doesn't even
fucking
mean you
fun.
have to be gay. Be whoever you are, like, and I feel like I'm drawn to that, like, those type of people that are just accepting of who they are, and so therefore they're accepting of who other people are. And so I've always just felt safe in that environment to just, like, be free and be who I am, however that is, whether I'm just, like, randomly meowing because I do that sometimes. So like like, just accept me, and that is where I go when I just need that, like, boost, and I just feel accepted, and it feels good, but I forget about the part where it's like people died for the ability to be able to be out here in the street, and people chose to still remain authentic even when persecuted, and that strength is something to be commended.
I gotta be honest here. It's still hard for me to say this out loud. Pulse affected me in a way I didn't expect it to. I had a friend that was supposed to go there with his boyfriend that night and decided to change their mind because they had other plans because other friends were coming into town. So they were going to go there and very well could have died. But also the fact that, I feel like when we think about Pulse, we need to think about what it changed in people. For me, it changed being able to go out and do normal activities. These people that were there weren't all gay. They were there with their gay friends. They were there being the sister or the brother, being the ally. And they were there having a good time, going in there let loose, to let everything else in their life go, to dance and to wiggle and to drink and to just have the time of their life in a place that, to your point, makes them feel safe because that's what a gay club is supposed to be, is a welcoming sanctuary for all. When somebody goes in and violates that and blows up a place just because they can, it makes you think differently about your safety and about where you want to go, when you want to go. And now I can't tell you that I've been back at a gay club since. And it's because of that, because I fear my life more than I feel going out on a night for fun. And
Yeah.
it's not about not supporting my people, but now we have to worry about that part of the thing that makes us feel safe. Now it's not safe anymore. So if that's not safe anymore, what the fuck else is? And that's where I'm at, because when something that monumental happens in a place that's so close to home, you just feel so close to that.
That's understandable. I think the biggest thing that tragedies like that do, other than steal lives, but even the people that survive, did they really survive? Because you just stole their peace of mind. And it's really hard to find joy when your peace of mind is constantly trampled on. Like, this is why none of us can regulate our goddamn fucking nervous systems. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and so that's completely understandable. And like you said, it's not just gays that go there. I mean, me and my sister used to go to Enigma right around the corner from my apartment in St. Pete, and loved going there. And her and I, like, we always talk about it. We had like the time of our lives there, and it's just me and her. Like, people may assume we're gay. I don't care. Like, I'm chilling. Like, we're having a good time, and I just felt like safe. Like, that would be where we would go when it's just us, and we're like, hey, we want just a cool vibe. Like, where are we gonna go? And that would be like the place that we're like, okay, this is where we're gonna find a place to just let loose and be us without having to have judgmental eyes, or without having to have someone be inappropriate with us, or not feel safe because just because we're dancing and having a good time, you think that's permission for you to approach, or for you to disrespect, or for you to touch me, or ask me to buy things like that that kind of come with being a woman in a crowded space and things like
Mhm.
that. So going to those sanctuaries aren't just for not gay people, or the whole LGBT community, but it's for allies. It's for anyone who felt like an outsider, anyone who felt the need to have a safe space. That's where you felt welcomed. And to hate something like that, really, to be honest, is just unfathomable. But
And
here
we're
we
here.
are. We're surviving through it. I knew we had a topic to get to, so I don't want to take away too much from that. But thanks for sharing. And I hope that, this is a place where you feel safe, where you can unlighten the load.
It is. But before we jump in, you're going to tell us about your dog.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? You can just
So,
drop a little bomb and say we'll get back to
right.
that
I'm
later for
like,
the
oh,
audience. They're
yeah.
probably like, I want doggy info.
So we have a new family member. Her name is Valentina, or Val is what we call her most of the time, or Valley Girl. We adopted her from the SPCA in Wake. They were amazing. They were so sweet and just helpful. But she's 7 months and she's beautiful. We will link pictures and all of that on the socials. So you will see her. She is on the Aligned Anyway TikTok already from when I adopted her. But we'll be sending out more information. We think that she may be a pit slash lab,
I got
and
boxer for sure.
that someone told me boxer too. I'm hoping boxer because I hear they're a little smaller. But regardless, we love her. But we are on the fourth floor and going down there with a big dog. People are like, when I told them that I got this dog, they're like, "What are you doing?" And I know it seems random, but honestly, like, God, I am bipolar. I don't know how many times I got to tell people this. So like,
Like, you didn't already know this was gonna
like
happen?
I told you, I mean, this shit happens. But I think Val was a really good addition to our family. The funny thing is we went to the park, went on a hike, and then I was like, oh, let's just go look at puppies. Don is a dog guy and he likes dogs. And, we've been going through a lot of things, a lot of different changes in life that have been causing a lot of stress and being really open and vulnerable about what we're going through on both sides with dealing with depression. And Luna, my cat, you guys, I have a cat who Luna just got accepted to the cat calendar. She's January. I'm gonna drop a link for that too. Yes, I put my cat in a contest. But anyway.
Wait, okay, so what? Hold on, pause it up. Pause it up. Talk to me about the pussy print.
So Luna girl, I submitted her to this contest I saw on like Facebook or whatever, and it's for, I forget the name of the calendar, but really they just want me to buy the calendar, like, because y'all using my cat, y'all didn't pay me, and you want me to buy the calendar, and they're like, we'll give you a discount.
We know consumerism at its finest, and you fell for it. But anywho, go ahead.
I didn't buy the calendar though.
Okay.
But my girl is January. I'll send it to you. Anyways, but Luna don't be wanting to cuddle with me. Like, she'll cuddle me when she wants to, but like, I want to cuddle too when I want to cuddle. And Val will cuddle with me whenever. Even if she don't feel like it, she'll still be like, okay, let me get my cuddle time in. But you guys, being a puppy mom is so hard. It's not for the faint of heart. I've been cleaning up poop and pee, and I've been outside so many times. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, I was like, oh, you know what? I want neighbor friends. And I've been seeing these neighbors that walk their dogs. So me and my little baby girl, Alana, we decided to write notes to 3 of my neighbors. And the note is like, hi, I'm your neighbor. I saw you walking your dog. I got a new puppy and I need tips or whatever. But like, you want to be friends?
That's cute.
And I left my number, and we'll see. I met a friend like that before. She left me a note on my door. So I was like, we'll find out. But like, I just wanted, I'm all about community. So I needed like a puppy mom support group. And the girl next door to me has a puppy. And then the other one, her dog is older, but that can kind of be like a puppy because the dog be struggling.
Yeah, and it does take a lot of work. But
does.
speaking of work, you did ask me when you got the dog. You're like, Josh, you got 2 dogs. Like, what does it take to make this work? And I said, there's 3 P's. We need patience. That's number 1. We need potty pads. That's number 2. And what was the 3rd P? Oh shit. Potty pads, patience, prayer. You're gonna need some prayer. You're gonna need some prayer. Yeah, if you're into praying, you're gonna have to do some of that.
Well, we got her this grass puppy pad that we put on the patio, and she went on it.
Yes.
So super excited. She went outside at least, and she's going to get there. But, she was traumatized. She was a stray and she's terrified of cars. So something had to have happened. I'm thinking like, Aristocats kind of movie, 90s style type
Poor
thing.
baby.
And then she was in a foster home, and then she was at the SPCA. So she's just confused, and she's only 7 months now. And the funny thing is, when we got her, we ran into her foster mom.
Oh, yeah?
So her foster mom got to say, oh my gosh, like, I'm so glad she got adopted. Like, thank you. It was a really cute and sweet moment. And, she was just like happy that another family had her. And she helped us get her into the car because she was terrified. She would not move. She just like lay down flat on the thing. And I'm like, cars are coming. Like, come on. And she's a big girl. So like, I'm trying to pick her up. I'm like, Don, you come get your girl. Like, she's a big baby. She acts like a little baby, but she's, she's not. So, but I'll drop pictures to share, but her name is Valentina, but we just call her Val. I call her Valley Girl.
She's
So that's
beautiful.
a
We
little
love her, and we're gonna
cute.
be posting lots of puppy pics because who doesn't want those in their lives?
Exactly. Exactly.
We digress again because we will
Oh, is it?
digress and digress and we'll digress and then we'll get back. So what we're doing right now is the bipolar part of the episode where we get back to the topic. Welcome back to Ellen Anyway. We're bipolar and you love it.
Like I'd be doing something, people be surprised, and I'd be like,
But are
"Do
you
you know what it
though?
is?" Like we talked about this before. Like that like I do this sometimes. I've even warned people. Like there was this time where I would meet new friends, and I'd be like, "Hey, FYI, I'm like flaky." And which is like not a good thing to say, but I'd be like, yeah, sometimes like I get in my modes and I like want to isolate and I can't like.
You know what it is. We're bipolar, we're bipolar, we're bipolar, we're bipolar.
He's trying to turn that into a song. Guys, look, performative you is the topic. I know we got off topic.
The performative you. I think about this and I initially think roles, titles, things we've already talked about before on our show. What would you say is the biggest role that you have played throughout your personal life?
The strong one. Like, I think it's weird because I'm the most sensitive out of all my siblings, and I'm usually the most sensitive out of all my friends, but I'm also the one who checks in. Like, I may be sensitive, but I'm pretty good at like sharing and talking through my emotions and things like that. But then there are times where I'm like, I just want to go dark because I worry about being a burden on other people. And so I feel like I do it to help them. So a lot of times people only see the strength part of me. So that's why I'm the strong one. But like, I really just have kind of come to the realization through just like started writing again and things like that. You've seen some things that I posted going like talking about how I feel, where it's like, I'm the strong one because that's what I portrayed. That's what I allowed you to see. That's what I wanted you to see because I was just really just too afraid to be vulnerable because I have this fear of being judged. And so we've been talking about this a lot, the performative you. Like, I think for a long time, I have been performing, and not to say that I'm fake or anything like that. I think that we are all performing. We're all wearing a mask. Like my mask is different when I'm at work. My mask is different when I'm with specific friend groups. You know what I mean? Like I have a different group of friends. And that doesn't mean that I'm fake. It doesn't mean that I'm like putting on, but maybe that's a different part of me that I kind of get to explore a little bit more. But that person, maybe they're not okay with a certain type of vernacular or how I'm a very loud and like, you guys know this, like I talk with my hands, and if I'm angry, you're going to hear the story as if like I'm talking to
Expressive,
you.
I would say is the
Yeah,
word.
I'm very expressive.
Yeah.
So there are some people who may not like that or where it bothers them. I tone that down for them. And in my head, I do feel like that's performative in a way. You know what I mean? So even little things like that, I feel like are ways that we're performing to be more palatable for everyone, right? Because there's so many different people. And so we don't always feel the most comfortable being like authentically ourselves. So I don't feel the most comfortable being vulnerable because, I kind of was taught that like vulnerability was like not a good thing. Like never let them see you sweat, don't show weakness. Like think about all the things that we were told as kids and growing up, right?
Mhm.
So I always kind of felt like I had to be the strong one. So that way people weren't judging me or weren't thinking that I couldn't handle it or, thought that I was incompetent or I wouldn't get the job or I wouldn't get in the right friend circle. Like it was very much this you have to be a certain type of way, this dog eat dog world, like survival of the fittest. And I realized like survival of the fittest caused me to be a chameleon. I feel like I'm at this moment where I'm just kind of like shedding my skin because I'm really starting to learn who I am over these last, I would say probably like 5 years. I've gone through these different phases and I feel like I'm kind of coming out of a cocoon. What is up with me and these nature references?
You do like to touch grass and feel sunshine and
And
get in the
hug
water.
trees.
Look, you do like trees and air. So we're just gonna call you, Captain Planet. It's not a big deal.
Captain Planet, I like that. Today, Alana said, she's like, we were picking, I guess, like her and Don were picking like who would be the captain of whatever planet, like Scarlet Witch, that kind of thing. Like, who would I be? Like, who's my superhero person? And she said that I would be a nature girl. Like, I like nature and I like to care for nature. And I was like, I like that that's your perception of me. Like, I felt
That's
really
right.
good. I was like, oh my gosh, like, just warmed my heart. And from the mouths of babes, right? Like, I just love hearing things from kids more so, especially at that age, because it's just going to be truth. Because she says
Yeah.
some things that are not very nice sometimes either. So when they are nice, I'm like,
I
"Oh,
earned that
okay,
one.
good. That makes me feel good. Because sometimes I'd be like, damn, is that how you perceive me? Okay, But I can't even be mad like that is that I carry that burden of being the strong one because I did that to myself, but also I think that the environment that I grew up in kind of taught me that I didn't have a choice is kind of my take on that. But what about you? What's your role or title that stuck out to you?
Leader, because I don't just take leader at work as my role or title. I take it in my relationships. I take it in my friendships. I take it in my groups of people that I have conferences with. We'll just say I'm like a business trip or something, and I have a conference, a training seminar or something where I have to engage with groups of people that I don't even know and have to do these trust building exercises or activities. I become a leader there too. I just had this sense of control, this need to be who I think is this authentic version of me, is this like honest, authentic person. But really, that part of me is also performative because I'm trying to prove something to myself and everyone else that like I can hit this peak version of what I and everyone else might see as perfection, even though that shit doesn't fucking exist. I need my house to be cleaner than ever. My version of what I think is cleaner than I can possibly get it. I need my car to be equally as clean. I need my closet to be color coded. I'm fucking OCD.
I was just gonna say, is that OCD though?
100%. I definitely have OCD.
I think I do too.
100%. And what I'm getting at is performative me does these performances so I feel safer. And it's so fucking exhausting. Back to what you're saying, like I got to put on a mask every time I need to go out and do a new activity or with a new person or a new job or a new employee or a new boss or just an activity. I just have to put on a mask at all fucking times. And we don't even know who we are when the mask isn't on anymore. The job that we have is just we got to put on a new mask. We know every day. Oh, go get that t-shirt, get that new color to coordinate. That's just another mask. It's just another performance. Everything we're doing is a performance because we don't know what else to do. But I can tell you what I know about it is I'm fucking sick of it. I'm so tired of it.
How exhausting, honestly, like what you just said is like we literally, I don't know why, but like the t-shirt comment, put on this t-shirt, coordinate this. And then it's like, oh, it's just another mask. You saying that made me actively very, very exhausted. Like we really are in this place where everything that we're doing is just a performance. We perform at work, we perform at home. I mean, we perform when we go to events that we don't really want to go to sometimes. And then that's why when you do form these bonds and these friendships where you're like, yes, I ain't got to perform. I could call you crying today. I could be like, yo, I had a really fucked up day. So and so pissed me off. And then in 2 hours, I'll be like, yeah, I just need to fucking go hug a tree and stand in some sunlight. I'm okay now. And you're just like, okay, bitch, cool, do your thing. And that's what I need. You know what I mean? Like, be okay with the fact that, like, 1 minute I might have been fucking tornado up in this bitch. And then the next minute I'm out here hugging a tree and grounding because clearly I needed to fix that. I just wish I could have fixed it before I blew up. But I need a friend that I just could feel comfortable with all of the shit and not have to feel like I'm wearing a mask. If I have to feel like I'm wearing a mask, that's when I'll be like, nah, I ain't going. No, I don't want to do that. And no, it may not even be like you per se. It's just I'm not comfortable enough yet. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that we didn't have whatever instant click my body chemistry needs to be able to feel like I want to do that. Because I think in the beginning, sometimes when you're meeting someone or meeting a friend, it is a performance, right? Like it's a little bit of a performance because you're not telling them everything. You don't want to meet a new person and be like, yeah,
You're
my life is
dating your
going to shit
friend.
right
Yeah, you're in
now.
the dating phase.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, "Oh, everything is fine." Like, I think I talked about this before, but I remember, like, me and Sid, we met when I first moved here. Our daughters went to the same, hair salon, and we had hung out maybe a couple times, and then, like, this last time, I was like, "I really need to kinda open up to somebody in person." She asked me if I was okay, and I just started crying.
Mm.
And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Okay, girl, hold on just a second. Let me go get a drink." And she came back and she was like, "Okay, I'm ready now. Go." And in my head, I was like, "Boom, that's it. You're my friend now." But like it took time to get to that level, right? Where it was like, "Okay, now I feel comfortable because I don't have to wear a mask. If I'm sad, I could be sad. If I'm mad, I could be mad. If I'm joyful, I could be joyful." I don't because there are friends where you do have to perform misery. We talked about that before. I
Mhm.
had a friend where I had to be complaining about something in order to not. I was dimming my own light. So I was even performing by dimming my own light. Like that is how deep this performative shit is.
I'm also reflecting on the fact that you said, "I need people that just allow me to be one without a mask." But then I'm thinking through, okay, so say that we do that. Say that you and I, for example, are hanging out. We're in our sweatshirts. We're having a podcast. We're having our virtual bonfire behind us. You have your great little makeup kind of sore thing going on back there.
Vanity.
Vanity, thank you. Even though we're talking about not being performative, we're being performative.
Ah!
When you go out with your friends and you go out with your friends to that nice dinner at the high-end restaurant, are you going in your PJs? No, you're
No.
going in the highest end fashion because the performative you has to feel satiated. No matter what we do, we can tell ourselves we're doing it, we can tell ourselves it's wrong. No matter what we do, we don't know how to not because that's what human nature tells us we must do. We must perform.
Here's the thing. I get what you're saying. And it called me out a little bit. I was like, "Oh, damn," because, depending on the restaurant, like, I need to make sure I got a certain outfit, whatever. Now, I'm not really big on brands and that it has to cost a lot of money. I want
Sure.
it to be quality and cute. And you can do that on a budget, and I'm all about that because that makes me feel even better. But I still wanna look cute, right? So, in my head, I don't really think I am performing, you're right, but I'm not performing for other people. I'm performing for myself because when you look good, you feel good. Listen, when I put on that belt the other day and that belt fit and my waist came in, I'm like, "Hell yeah." I was proud because I have been dedicated. I have been eating correctly. I have been actually eating breakfast in the first place. I have been working out. I have been walking the dog. I have been doing these things. So, hell yeah, I am going to perform a little bit for my damn self. But it didn't used to be like that. It used to be like, I want someone else to notice this. And right now, it's like, I don't care if anyone else notices it. But I want to recognize and show that I noticed it because there were so many years where I didn't. So yeah, Imma perform front and center. And I like to be center stage. I'm definitely one of those people that's kinda like, I like to be in the spotlight a little bit, not gonna lie. But
I mean, we literally created a podcast so we can get in our own spotlight. I mean, I think we have our own light and lots of it. You know what I mean?
you gotta be real with it. And you know
We
what's
do.
funny is like, so I knew we were talking about performative you today. And I wrote a poem that was called The Performative You. And that's where this idea kind of came from because I talk a lot about like how I perform at work and at home and all the time, just different versions of myself that other people need from me. And how sometimes, like, I think I'm just so exhausted because I forgot what I needed from me. And sometimes I can be like an over giver. A caretaker is what some tests that I took called. I can kind of put my own needs on the back burner for whatever's like my immediate family right in front of me. And it can feel like abandoning myself. But I have become so vocal. And I have been so proud of myself for being able to have conversations with people that I maybe wouldn't have had before. Where I am standing up for myself and where I am saying, you know what? No, let me set some boundaries. You know what I mean? And so even that is a performance though, because setting boundaries isn't easy for me and it's uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. I didn't want to have to do it. I wanted it to just happen without me having to set the boundary. But
Mhm.
I had to perform in order to protect myself. So there's many different reasons of why you would need to perform. So I'm not by any means saying that the performative you is a bad you or fake. I'm just saying let's call out the reasons why we do and really understand them and kind of see when they're needed. Because if I'm in friendships where I feel like I have to perform, bye. We don't need to be friends anymore. If I'm in a relationship where I have to perform, bye. Family members, I got to perform, bye. I'm not doing that shit. I'm fucking tired. I'm done. Now, different such situations that cause me to perform where I'm going to benefit from them in the long run because I'm pushing myself. Hell yeah. Sign me up. Let's do it.
Can you give me an example?
Of course, you would come with giving you an example.
We
And
like
now I gotta
receipts.
dig into this as if I don't share enough as is. This one is it's a little personal and it touches really close to home. The example would be just kind of stepping up for myself. And I don't say standing up on purpose. I say stepping up because I feel like sometimes standing is like this knee jerk reaction. You just up and get up, right? I am taking baby steps to holding myself accountable, to protecting myself, utilizing boundaries that will avoid me from having caregiver burnout.
Okay.
So I'm setting myself up to say, no, like this is what I said, and I'm sticking to this. And this is for future Tiffany to protect her. And I don't always think about that. I think about ways to, because I have an anxious attachment style. So I think about ways to like, how can I please or how can I do both? Or I may lash out, but then it's like I come back and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, like woe is me kind of thing. And so I think that I'm doing a better job, or at least working on doing a better job of really like holding my own, standing to my boundaries and not just like talking about it, but really doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's all we can do is do different and actually progress instead of regress.
What's something people assume about you that isn't actually true? Because I feel like there's a lot because there's so many different versions of you. We've yet to even pull back the onion. Like when we've talked, I learned something new. And so I feel like you must have some assumptions about you that aren't true. And I just wonder, like, how do those affect you? And do those come from your own performance?
Yeah. You want receipts too, don't you? All right. So I think that if I were going to have a panel of the people closest to me, if they were asked this question about me, they might say, well, if you don't know Josh, you would probably think that he is a cold hearted asshole. Not entirely wrong.
Not entirely wrong.
Not entirely wrong. But I think that there's more than that because that is my performance. Because deep down, I have this internal layer that gives me the ability to let a lot of people in. And when I allow that side of me to let people in, I'm very easily manipulated. I'm very easily apt to do things that I normally wouldn't do. I would overexert myself in activities I normally wouldn't want to go to just for the sake of getting acceptance from a group of friends. Or I would try to make everybody happy. So I would overcommit and then forget about plans. I would do the wrong thing because I would piss somebody else off and I didn't mean to. And then I got to figure out which is the better commitment for me and them and not piss off everyone. So I've done that too. So I would say that I have a hard exterior, a very soft interior, but the hard exterior doesn't allow the soft interior to make decisions that would make him be susceptible to getting hurt by others. The adult me is on the outside, and my inner child is what is protecting me from the core, and that is my heart. So that's how I would answer that for you.
You know, as you're talking, I'm thinking because this has happened to me before too, where I overanalyze a situation and I'm like, how did I get there? And it's funny because I talked to Don, whose brain is not like that at all. It's completely opposite of me. And he'll be like, how did you get from like point A to like all the way over here at T? Like that doesn't make any sense. And as you're talking, I'm like, you know what? What if some of this isn't necessarily performative behavior, but it's just anxiety? And we think that it's us trying to put on a performance. And I guess maybe it is because I feel like that's what anxiety is. It's this like performance of like, can I beat what my brain thinks is going to happen? Can I prove it wrong, but by still wanting it to be right so that we could say we were right because we were anxious and we were trying to protect ourselves. But also it's like that anxiety is like a safety blanket. It's a pacifier to allow us to like think ourselves into despair, right? And
Yeah.
then it comes off as, a performance. I'm trying to be this way or do this certain thing for you so that you'll like me. And I wonder if this performative view really is just another form of mental illness. I mean, we're all just out here fucked up. And how could we not be with like just everything that happens?
I think that gives us a little bit of clarity. Whether that gives you clarity on how crazy we actually are or not is up for debate. But you can tell us that in the comments. Audience, how crazy are we? Because we need to know. Not that we don't already know, but we know how can we help you get more clarity on our crazy? Do you have this ability to be just as crazy? Or are you
Oh
crazier than your
gosh.
two co-hosts on the line anyway? Drop that in the comments.
What's the difference between being healed and wanting people to think you're healed? And I say that because of what we just talked about, because we talk a good game, right? When we're here, like we sound all healed and enlightened. And then I have my little breakdown. So, what's the difference?
I'm still trying to figure out the actual healed part. So it's for me, it's still a projection because I think trauma always finds a way to sneak up on you. And are we ever really healed when it does? Because it just kind of opens the wound again when you start to relive it. So I think that we have a scar that reminds us of the pain, but I don't know that we've ever really healed because the scar is still there permanently. So I think that's a reminder of that. And I think that the performative version is acting like we've healed. For me, it's telling people, I'm good. Don't worry about it. Let me focus on you. Tell me about you so I can put on this performance of counselor so I can make you feel better. So then my performance shows my soft side because I have that. I don't always want to be a cold hard asshole. That's the healing part of me that people see, but the part of me that wants to be healed is still trying to make that happen.
Honestly, I think like all of this like healing shit is bullshit. Like I don't think we're ever fully healed. I think it's like just kind of like holidays. It's just another corporate revenue stream to get people to buy self-help books and do all this shit. Hell, listen to this fucking podcast, but it's going to work though because that's how the world was set up. People need performance, people need healing, people need growth, right? And growth is great when you really go for it. But unfortunately, we have to constantly heal and constantly grow because we are not set up in a world that truly allows for that type of enlightenment or alignment, if you will. And so we will constantly be healing because healing is how we survive.
It is. But also, what people see, I think, helps us mentally tell ourselves we're healing. I think that performance that we're putting on for the audience, if they don't clap, do we feel like we did a good job? No.
No. You
So
see how
we
fast
need
I said that?
we
No.
need them to know that we're healing. So I think people tell people about the trauma so they can help you heal, and that way you feel better about yourself too.
Also, people want to relate too, right?
Mhm.
Because people need people. So when
Yeah.
you have someone that you can relate to, you feel like, wow, they got through it. So maybe I can too. And I think that's necessary. Again, these are all things that are needed in order to survive, right? This is survival of the fittest. And this is how you remain mentally fit, I feel like, in this day and age to be able to deal with the different stressors of the world, right? Because as evolution evolves, you will need different tools to be able to kind of ward off whatever threats are coming. And right now, I feel like the threat is social media, consumerism, just everything. You know what I mean? And so I think that healing is a tactic for growth in order to protect yourself from what the world has become.
Do you think that you've ever caught yourself practicing growth versus actually performing growth?
Hell yeah. Like all the fucking time.
Okay.
Like I talk so much shit. I'm such a big like I talk so much shit. I talk a big game, right? Like and I really mean that shit. And there are times where I really do it, right? But like you've seen on the back end like how hard it can be for me to have an honest conversation, right? Like I'm usually like fine with it. I'm not the biggest I'm totally fine with confrontation. But like there have been some things where I really was like, I don't want to do it. I want to avoid it, right? And so but if you think about my podcast, if you think about my book, those can be looked at as performative healing, especially if you look at the inside and you're like, she's not doing the things that she says she's supposed to be doing. So, whatever you do not look to me to be the guru of healing, right? I am very open and honest about the fact that, like, 1 minute I'm walking it, I'm doing it, I'm talking it, and the next minute it's fucking bullshit because I'm triggered and all that I give a fuck about is whatever is triggering me. But then I have a real ass conversation with my family, my friends, my fiance, whomever, right? And I come back down and I take ownership and accountability and I do it again because I don't think healing is linear. I think it's just constantly like in this always ever moving evolution. And so there's times where the healing is for show and it's bullshit and it's fake it till you make it. And there's times when the shit's real. And I really strive to show all of those times, like, because you can cry when you're healing. A lot of the times that's what you do. But I think that, most of the time I'm full of shit.
That had to be hard to say. Like, the whole time you're saying it, I'm thinking like, "Holy shit, this lady just said this on World Wide Web." There it is. I mean, you've heard it. Look, we're not here to give you a performance today. We're here to talk about how we want to unperform, and we're here to talk about how we recognize a performance, but that shit is just for theatrics. You go to pay for a show because you step away from who you are. That's what a performance does. You go to a concert to step away from yourself and everything around you that's going wrong or right in the world. Everything is to pause in those performances. So for us, performances are healing. They're a safety net. They're a guard. But those guards only get us so much truth because we tell ourselves that we need to be able to grow in order to heal. And
Mm.
sometimes it's bullshit and sometimes it's real because the effort is always there, but it's only bullshit if we don't follow through. And that's the piece that we're missing.
I like that. It makes me feel like less like bullshit, right? Because there's times where I follow through and then there's times where, I don't. But I think like my favorite thing about myself now is the ability to be able to call myself out on my bullshit. Like I used to very much be like, I'm not good with criticism at all. So I have become someone who is because I realized how important it is to be coachable in this world. And so I really like to be honest and say, like, the purpose of this podcast is to relate, listen, talk a little shit. But, we're not out here saying that we're experts. We're just out here sharing our vulnerability with the hopes that it gives someone else the courage to be real and step into who they are just to try to live a joyful life without the fucking bullshit of society trying to snuff the originality out of you.
100%. And I think that is a perfect way to wrap up our crazy. What do you say?
Yes, I would agree. I want to wrap it up with a call to action. Audience, watchers, listeners, you know who you are. We want to hear from you. We've got some questions that we want you to mull over, reflect on. If we stripped away social media, job titles, relationship status, money, accomplishments, and other people's expectations, who would you be?
And what's one part of yourself that you've stopped performing or hope that you can stop performing?
And what's one version of yourself you're still learning to let go?
Follow our show, leave us a review. It helps us more than you understand. Next week, we're going to be talking about what happens when marriage, dating, and serious relationships begin changing when the dynamics of the friendship change. Make sure you stay tuned for that.
Until next time, stay aligned.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.